What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to the brother LB. He's the first one I saw talking about this. And if you like my content, you will really like his. Please subscribe to his channel. You can find it if you search for it on YouTube. It's the sports and political content of LB. I think you'll enjoy his channel. Please subscribe to his channel. So, yesterday, the Cleveland Indians, the Major League Baseball team, made the expected announcement that they will be changing their name starting next season. They will be going by the new name, the Cleveland Guardians. Now, of course, their existing name is the Cleveland Indians. I believe they've been going by the Cleveland Indians for somewhere around a century. I know that they used to go by the Cleveland Naps, which was based upon the name of their star at that time, their biggest star in history, Nap Lajoie, one of the premier hitting second basemen in the history of Major League Baseball. I think his best days were around turn of the century, early 1900s or so. But anyway, for 100 years, they've been known as the Cleveland Indians. So, but a lot of it, the reason why you're seeing all these changes, with sports franchises, and I suspect the Atlanta Braves will be the next team to have to change their name. A lot of it has to do with, and I don't really want to talk politics on this channel anymore, but I'll just say this. I think a lot of it is a, a reaction to what happened in 2016, and certain forces saw that and saw that as a potential threat to our way of life or freedoms, whatever. And for what that group represents, this is a pushback. Couple that with a growing social consciousness that we've seen over the past 5 to 6 years. And it's been accelerated by the incidents that we saw last year with the shootings of Breonna and killings and murders, let's be quite frank, of Breonna Taylor and what was his name? I think Blake, I think Jacob Blake, and most prominently George Floyd. That's why you're seeing all these topplings of streets and highways and monuments and all these different things that have been going on over the past several years as far as reactions and changes. And of course, they're changing their name. I don't have a problem with this, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not directly impacted by this. I'm not. I'm not a Native American. Okay. However, I could understand a person who's Native American being offended by this. If there was a team called the Omaha Africans, right, and their mascot was a black face with big red lips and smiling, yeah, I would find it offensive too. You damn Skippy. So I can understand why they're offended by that. But you have people who will say, it's a tradition. They don't see the big deal. My thing is, this is my thing. You know how when a person is blind, right? And they might lose that sense, but the senses that they are in tune with become heightened. Their sense of smell become heightened. Their sense of hearing becomes super heightened. They can be like radar off mash. They can hear a plane or a helicopter, seconds before everybody else do. Well, I think when you're a person who goes through racism, on a fairly consistent level, or basis, I should say, I think that you become super sensitive to that. Whereas people who aren't as affected by that, they don't really see it. They don't, and sometimes they don't even understand it because it's not something they have to deal with on a daily basis. So that's one of my thoughts on that. Um, and also, I want to say this too. This isn't something that has just started. People protesting and asking for advocating name changes. I remember vividly when I was in high school, there was a push, and I think it was around the time Jack Kent Cooke died in 1997, and Dan Snyder became the owner of the Redskins. They were pushed in for them to change the name, but of course they wouldn't do it. But this has been going on even before that. Ever since at least 1970s, you've had these advocate groups who have been pushing for the name changes of teams like the Braves and the Indians and the Redskins. But the difference between then and now is it was a small fraction of the American populace that was pushing for this. It has since then, as we become a more sensitive culture and a more understanding culture overall, it's a growing group. It's still a minority in my opinion, but it's become a more powerful minority. But what uh, is really pushing it is the financial squeeze. Money talks. And when you have the city threatening to take away the leases of these franchises from the respective cities, when you have the apparel partners threatening to no longer, these powerful companies threatening to no longer contract with you to push your apparel and earn this money, now all of a sudden all of these CEOs and all of these, uh, you know, individuals affiliated with the team, they you're threatening their bottom line. Then they can't pay the players. Then the team goes bankrupt. Then the franchise folds. And then you're hurting Major League Baseball. You can't have that, right? Or you're hurting the NFL. Can't have that. So therefore, the solution is to just change the damn name, right? In that situation, and that's how I think that we need to think as a group. We need to be more we need to be more cerebral about how we approach problems. It's nice to go out and protest. When push comes to shove, there's that nuclear option. You know what I mean by that, right? When I say nuclear option, you should know what I mean by that. Ask someone older; they'll tell you what I mean. There's that nuclear option, but before it gets to that point, we should try to hit them economically. Economically, that's why I know a lot of people have issues with Dr. King's movement and the nonviolence and the ideological aspect of it. But the reason why I had so much success is because it wasn't just because it was, nonviolence and weak and all that. Yeah, look, I get it. A lot of aspects of the movement I didn't agree with. But the one area they were very effective was hitting people's pocketbooks. No longer riding buses, hitting them financially. No longer going to certain businesses that were black and white sections, cut off. Okay, well, we're not going into these businesses until it becomes integrated. Now, you can argue why did you want to deal with a business that, you know, that's white when you can just create your own? I get all that, but still, it was effective, and that's why we got the little trinkets that we did get, you know, back then. I call it trinkets because it still wasn't a real big victory, but we did get something. But anyway, going back to this situation, people are still going to, in my opinion, call the team the Cleveland Indians. They're going to do that because people like to be told what to do. People are still going to refer to these teams for whatever they want. Look, I live in Virginia, which is Washington Redskin. You're not going to find a state other than maybe Maryland, that is more Washington Redskin uh, uh, territory than Virginia. Every single Redskin fan that I know, including my best buddy, right? My best friend, all of them still refer to the team as the Redskins. They're just going to do it. So at the end of the day, that's why I don't have a problem with it. Yeah, you can officially change the name to whatever you want to change, but people are going to still refer to them as the Redskins. Just like a lot of younger people, I'm gonna tell you something. Like it took, from what I've read, right, a lot of fans of Muhammad Ali. When I say fans of Muhammad, I'm talking about the fans that were with him ever since the Olympics in '60 and the first couple years when he was known as Cassius Clay. It took them probably a good 2 or 3 years just to get used to calling him Muhammad Ali. They just kept calling him Cassius Clay. Or, remember there was a little while where he was called Cassius X. They would maybe got used to calling him Cassius X, but it took them a while to call him Muhammad Ali. Then eventually, by 68, 69, they probably by that time, because of repetition, constantly calling him Muhammad Ali in the media, Muhammad Ali, then they just got used to calling him that. But anyway, Guardians, I don't know. I think it's going to be a while till people get used to that. 20 years from now, probably most people are going to call them that by that, if that's still the same name. But I'm telling you, I think the next team on that list is going to be Atlanta Braves. Now that will be interesting because Atlanta is a different beast. I think that one, because of the popularity of the franchise, that one's going to cause more pushback. You know what I'm saying? We already saw uh, number 45 speak about that. Uh, so with the what was it, the Pepsi thing or whatever? I forget exactly the details, but anyway, tell me what you guys think.